They really did it. We're sailing. We are sailing in RuneScape. This alpha build of sailing gave me a feeling of excitement that I have not had for RuneScape in well over a decade, which is a weird thing to say because for the majority of the time spent trying this skill, I really didn't like it. An emotional roller coaster hardly covers what I experienced. I went from feeling frustrated to angry and irritable to intrigued and then excited and happy to saddened, all in the span of 2 hours. I have so many feelings about sailing, and I'm gonna go into all of it. I'm just kind of chilling right now because I've got my looting machine, my little looting anchor doing work. I caught something. AG1, talk about a stroke of luck. I mean, I'm out here at sea, and I'm gonna need a source of vitamins and minerals and probiotics. What a miracle. It's gonna be a long journey while we're out here. And I don't wanna be relying on things like energy drinks that have all that gross in them. I know it's got the B12 I need in here. It keeps me going, keeps me sailing. Just one scoop into here. You know what they say, walk the plank. There is a laundry list of things on the back of a can of soda that you can look at of everything bad for you. There's a list of things that are great for you. And you might be thinking, you know, I don't need vitamin D, I'm out in the sun here, but the one thing you gotta remember is this is not real life and it's a video game. I'm getting no vitamin D, I'm sitting at my computer. And AG1's D3K2 bottle is gonna help me. They've got a welcome kit so you can try AG1 for 30 days. See if you like it. For me personally, it absolutely has helped with energy, gut health. I like AG1 a lot, so give it a try. Use the link in the description or scan the QR code and you can get $20 off your first order of AG1. A big thank you to AG1 for sponsoring today's voyage. I have not looked at any dev blog, any updates on sailing. I have not kept up with this skill at all since it was confirmed in the polls. So throughout the video, if I suggest something and the devs have previously talked about that idea, whether they can or cannot do it, I didn't see it. Just let me know, or don't. Give me credit for the idea. I'm not gonna go into the entire 17-year history of this skill, where it started, its origin story, why it's here. I'm just gonna give you the bullet points, the only essential bullet points you need to know. Sailing started as a mixture of pranks and miscommunication in 2008, then became one of the first RuneScape memes. Sailing in RuneScape. There was a 2014 event just kind of poking fun at sailing, but in August 2015 the skill was pulled for real. Players had a chance to introduce sailing to RuneScape if they wanted it. It did not pass. April 2023, sailing was put up in a poll against two other skills, shamanism and taming. I think that's what it was. Was it? Which one they'd like to see most be put into Old School as its first new skill? Sailing came out on top, barely, by 500 votes, which looking back, that is insane. The confirmation poll came up in August 2023, which passed, and now here we are in March 2025. Sailing is here. Almost. I'll come out and say it, I for one did not vote for sailing in that initial 3-skill poll. It kind of seemed super far-fetched, and it was just always a meme for as long as I've played. It never seemed like something that would fit in the game. So I went with one of the other two. I don't even remember which one I voted for. And to be honest, for the majority of its development, I kind of forgot it was a thing at all. At RuneFest, you were able to try sailing, and I did not. I was not going to sit at a computer and play RuneScape while I was in the UK for the second time in my life. I was just gonna wait for this. Speaking of RuneFest, thank you guys for voting for me for the music category. It was very kind of you. And also thank you guys for 400,000 subscribers. That is one step closer to our goal of 400 million subscribers. So do your part. Make sure you click that subscribe button because we're not gonna do it without you. But anyway, my expectations for sailing, what it was, could not have been lower. I set the bar extremely low when I logged in, and to tell you the truth, It was barely meeting that low bar. So let me walk you through my thought process, my very unstable thought process. I logged on and had to enable a third-party plugin off RuneLite because Jagex hates me. But I turned it on and entered a sailing captcha. I started a quest with these two shady characters on the docks who wanted help captaining a ship, and they taught me how to sail. I take control of the helm, grabbed onto the tiller, trimmed the sails, and started coasting. And you may have noticed that this is coming pretty natural to me. And that's because I have a lot of real-life experience in sailing. See, my dad bought a boat when he was like 23 and very financially irresponsible. So he took me sailing whenever he could somehow manage to convince me that it was gonna be fun. So I caught on pretty quick. These two bums pushed me off the boat once they found treasure, and I washed up on the nearby port. I talked to the bartender. He yapped for a long time about something I wasn't paying attention to, and I talked to this guy, told him to skip the story and make it quick because I was trying to sail and try the new skill instead of listening to him talk. Talked to the bartender again, who told me to talk to Junior Jim, who gave me some logs and what I believe to be a bed sheet as my first boat to start my sailing career. And this might be weird coming from the quest guy, but that was maybe a little too much dialogue to start sailing. Locking a skill behind a quest is fine. We've been doing that since RuneScape 2 came out. There's a lot of talking. There's like this whole plot of finding revenge and capturing the two guys who tricked you and pushed you overboard, which is fine. That absolutely should be a big revenge arc that you go through. But I think for unlocking the skill, and all details of that should be mentioned in a later quest. Here's how I would modify this quest. This initial dialogue with the bartender should go along the lines of something like, look, if you can't sail, there's no shot you're catching those guys. They're very notorious. Go talk to Junior Jim. He'll get you started with a baby boat. Come back when you know a little bit more about what you're doing. People want to try the skill. They don't need this overload of lore dump. I just spacebarred through that shit like I'm sure 99.9% of the players did as well. Move that into a later quest. So we finally get introduced to the actual training of sailing. I build a storage chest on the raft so I can run errands between the ports. We also get this captain's log that gives us some open sea tasks to do, as well as logging any of our current notice board errands. My first errand is to get cargo from Port Sarum and bring it back. In an act of defiance, I immediately went the opposite direction and almost died to a lightning storm. About every 20 to 30 seconds, a gust of wind comes by. You trim the sail and it gives you a 20 XP drop and a little speed boost. I slowly but surely got my little raft, my pathetic raft, to Port Sarum, picked up the supplies and headed back. And I'll be very honest, at this point, I was bored out of my mind. I was mere seconds away from logging out and not thinking about sailing again. Everything just kind of felt very underwhelming, very slow. There was a lot going on. I mean, obviously sailing is a very different skill from everything else in the game, but something was just off about it. I couldn't understand what. I was not enjoying it.
I just hit a seagull. Actually got a chance to kill me because I'm level 3. I did not mean to do this, I'm sorry. Eating the shit out of the seagull. This gym guy is like, that's not the box you picked up for me, right? That's your own box you're using to smash this fucking seagull.
I finished the quest and went to the board to grab another task. Some of the tasks on the board are for combat, but combat is not available in the alpha, so they're just there for some reason. I found a shipwreck, but I didn't have the big boat anymore and the mechanism to loot it. I just kind of looked at it, feeling very sad about the situation. I don't know if it was just too late in the day to be trying something new, but I just wasn't feeling engaged in what was there. I felt like I was just clicking around aimlessly. So I looked at the captain's log and I tried to start doing those little tasks, the little charter things. Finally found another player who explained some stuff to me, articulating it in probably the worst way possible.
Duck, the hell are you talking about?
But eventually I pieced the puzzle together. The word puzzle. I found the tools in the chest that I built, which are supposed to help me with the tasks in the captain log. I had to use a duck to track the currents from certain areas. This is probably the stupidest mechanic I've ever engaged with in Old School Runescape. I felt like a jackass going in circles, big long circles, following a duck with an arrow blinking above it as it just kind of zigzagged everywhere, all to chart a current, which is meaningless in every sense. Why do I need to chart the current by an island? It doesn't affect the boat speed. It doesn't affect literally any objective, anything to do with the game at all. Tracking the currents with the duck does nothing except for distract me from doing something more fun. And I know this is just an optional captain log task, but at this point I was kind of just trying to do anything except for doing deliveries between the same two ports, because that's boring. It wanted me to look through my eyeglass to get a better look at the wizard's tower, but apparently from this spot, nothing nearby was worth looking at, like that wizard's tower there. I had to go right next to the wizard's tower to look at it from a close distance, which defeated the entire purpose of what this tool's supposed to do.
I seem to have flown up in a helicopter from where I was on the boat.
I kept sailing around. I found another thing to chart, but apparently I didn't have the sailing level to write about that on the map, so I have to come back later. I finally got that big ship back at level 10. I just felt like I was dragging my feet through mud. I did go on to build a cannon on my ship, which was very cool, except it's completely aesthetic because there's no combat in sailing yet, so it just... I mean, I just kind of built it for the sake of building it.
Did no one else build a cannon, dude? Am I the only one with a cannon on their boat?
But I'll tell you what, I bet you I turned some heads having that thing on my boat. They don't know if it fires or not. They haven't looked into it that hard.
Take these rafts out right the fuck now, dude.
I finally unlocked the looter anchor machine and the wind catcher, which is basically a magic device used to harness the power of wind. And I click on it every now and then for speed and XP. I got to a shipwreck to get some salvage for the first time, but as soon as I lowered the anchor thing, the wreck decided it wasn't going to exist anymore. Just go fuck myself. And here is where the anger arrived. I came across a loot crate, but it said I had to talk to the bartender about opening these crates. Very hard thing to do, apparently. So I went back to the port to talk to him, but it said I should be at least level 10. I was not going to train to level 10 on an alpha world. I ran into Its Will and I noticed that he had his actual combat level from the main servers, and he told me how to sync my character. And that was the biggest mistake I made all day. My entire world came crumbling down. I synced my character and I was reset to sailing level 1. It probably warned me it was going to do that and I just was not paying attention. An hour of my character's progress was thrown into the abyss of nothingness. So I did the quest again in the alpha world, thank you. Just retracing my steps, being slightly more efficient, and I was not very happy about anything. But then, by complete accident, a light shined through the darkness that was sailing. Instead of following everyone else and doing what they're doing with their little repetitive errand tasks, I decided to do what sailing was always meant to do: explore. A lot of the times when I'm recording, I hide my world map entirely, and I never really thought to click on it to see if there's anything new. It was kind of just tunnel vision to these two ports, so I had no idea where the barrier would be. I just wanted to see if I could sail all the way to Karen. So I set out and I just kept going and going. And suddenly I came across an island I definitely had never seen before. In the busiest sailing world at the peak hour, no one else was there, just this weird island of skeletons. And then I realized I could disembark. Set foot on the Isle of Bones. Now I know after the fact that this is actually in the captain's log, but I hadn't looked that deep into it. So in my brain, I was treating this like some sort of Easter egg, like a cool thing I did that the devs knew that someone would probably try. So I was stoked. It was some sort of gift from the devs for those who go above and beyond to explore and take advantage of this new skill. And that is when it clicked. The neurons were activated and I knew what I was put onto this world to do. Also, I saved this guy's life. I'll never forget that, probably. I got back on that boat and looked for more. I came across another island with a cave and fucking dragons and dragon eggs and runite rocks even. Those are so rare, do you know that? Do you guys know how rare runite rocks are? They're there in this new cave I just found exploring. I was probably the first human in this cave in hundreds of years. Then, at this point, I thought to open the world map for the first time. I was looking it up and down and I decided I was going to go to every new place that I could see and discover what was in store at all these new islands. New land masses, little islands. Couldn't dock at the big one, but I explored it with the true eyeglass, the detached camera. I discovered a new brand of tree. It's identical to a maple tree, but let it be known that I discovered it. Now, everyone's gonna remember that I discovered it. Video evidence, I am the founder of the balsa tree. And just when I thought I had seen it all, I discovered an imp walking on the water. Walking on the water. Well, that's crazy. No one has ever seen that before. And this part is mind-blowing. I know I've been busy with the WoW stuff. I've been very out of the loop. So I really don't know if this is old news. It probably is, but...
Where is this? Wait. Wait. Oh my god, this is Menaphos, dude.
There's stuff in Menaphos. It's not empty over there anymore. What the fuck? I've been begging for this place to get stuff added to it for actual years. And this is how I found out. Exploring Gielinor and discovering that Menaphos has things organically. I didn't Google this. I sailed there and found out. This'll never happen again. This was our first opportunity to go sail and explore and find a civilization, see a civilization from this first ever angle. That's so cool that happened. I found another island, and this one had a big old chest on it.
Chest? Chest? Wait a minute. Jagex, please. Where's the fucking key? At least there's coins on the ground. If there's 100 coins on the ground, that means there's gotta be some good shit in there, dude.
I found a great white shark in the middle of nowhere by itself. After that, I discovered an abandoned lighthouse, and it had a parrot at the top. Very cool guy. Maybe that's the sailing pet. This lighthouse is gonna be a big player in the sailing game one day, I bet. Mark my words. I left the lighthouse, and I realized that all the other new islands were blocked off. There's a big barrier, stopping us from going and seeing the other ones. And yes, I did try and brute force my way through them, but simply going backwards is about the full extent of my exploit attempts, so I'm just gonna have to wait till it comes out. As I sailed away, I came to a realization that both excited me and saddened me. The exciting part was that I found my favorite part of sailing, and it was something I've never gotten to enjoy on RuneScape before. Exploring and discovering and going in completely blind to things like caves that didn't exist, treasure on top of a hill, feeling actual immersion. This is what our ancestors would have wanted for us, is to explore and discover on this MMORPG. Exploration is the cornerstone of this skill for me. But the sad part came immediately after, when I realized that exploration could not be the cornerstone of sailing. Because as expanded as this map is, with all these new features and islands and caves, we can only explore a new island once. We can only organically discover a brand new city once. And the first entrance into a brand new cave you just found is the only time it's ever going to be the first entrance into that cave. Unless the devs were to figure out a way to miraculously discover procedurally generating an instance of an open sea that create a unique exploration experience every time, exploration and discovery would be a one and done component of this skill. Now, I know nothing about coding, even less so about coding with this rune script, or whatever this crazy code is that these devs have to fucking jump hoops through. But I doubt that procedurally generating instances is in the realm of possibility. That's just my guess. I'm assuming that would be a nightmare. So even though that's probably not possible, I'm gonna tell you about this vision I have for sailing. The idea that has sprouted from excitement about something in this game that I've not had since I was a little kid. Imagine getting on your boat and entering an instance. In this case, we'll call them a voyage. Each voyage is about the size of here. In this voyage, there's chance to spawn small islands, giant islands, whole new land masses, and those masses have caves, pirate hideouts. Every voyage has a treasure, whether it's through a map that you find and you have to solve it like a little treasure trail, or it's in a cave ran by a bandit gang, pirate people, and you get XP and loot. Maybe once combat is introduced, you can fight other pirate ships, and you can have your crew board them and loot them and sink them. And these voyages have limited resources, so like that runite rock we saw, there's a chance for that to spawn in the cave. It doesn't respawn, it's just that one ore. In the giant open sea, there's a chance to spawn a sea monster for like a boss encounter. Maybe these voyages could be a new genre of raid that you have to go in with a set of 5 people on their own ships, and there's a task list that needs to be completed before you can complete that voyage. Or there's a giant sea monster that everyone needs to use the cannons on their ship to fight. All 5 of you have to storm the island on the beaches, get to the center, your Wook's walking cannon fire, looking cool as shit. I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm just having fun thinking of like the what ifs, This voyage concept would keep that aspect of exploration and discovery fresh. You have no idea if you're gonna get a new landmass or a boss or a new cave with resources or a treasure trail. You have no idea every time. Just the part I loved most about this alpha build is just exploring and discovering. I was so happy. Dude, I was having such a good time. I was sending Will screenshots of all the shit I was discovering.
Just discovered a new kind of tree. I love these updates, by the way. I don't know if you photoshopped this to get me with a Ligma joke. There is no way that there is a tree called Balza. Like, you're about to type balls all up in your mouth or something.
Just the idea of being able to discover things in this game that I know inside and out is amazing. Like when Varlamore first released, it was fun to kind of walk around and see all the things that were implemented, but Varlamore was teased and shown for years. The map was known, polls about it, concept art. Even though I made an attempt to not spoil things for myself, it was impossible. Especially doing this as a job and working with Jagex on Varlamore projects, it was hard to not engage with Varlamore. So I almost kind of knew what to expect for the first time when I went and explored. But with Sailing, that true feeling of discovery and not knowing anything and going in blind was there. I don't think I have felt this since I played on the original RuneScape servers and I was seeing areas for the first time. This is probably one of the only times, with exceptions of a few quest areas, Old School has given me that feeling. The unique voyage instances forces the player to be going in blind so that you don't know what you're going to get. A system like that would bring the game to a whole new tier of excitement. This skill was able to provide a true sense of discovery and immersion to someone who's played it for 20 years. And that's how I know that they have something special here. There's a lot of untapped potential, and there's definitely ways to bring out the full potential of Sailing without my procedurally generated thing. I'm just throwing shit at the wall. I don't know. But the fact that they made Sailing work at all in this game and on this engine, that's promising. So after this, I will once again not be looking at Sailing dev blogs or video previews of new mechanics, but as soon as I see another alpha test, or beta test even, I'll be right back here looking for new islands and caves and whatever else they put in. Good work, mods, the dev team back there. You're cooking up something nice. So don't burn it. But that's all I've got. I know I've been away from RuneScape for a little bit. I have the WoW series that I'm doing and finishing. I'm trying to do some RuneScape in between, clearly. I'm not quitting RuneScape. I'm not done making RuneScape videos. I'm just trying something out, and it's a lot of fun. If you're a RuneScape person and you haven't watched them, I've made them with RuneScape people in mind. I cover everything and try to make it as entertaining as possible, even if you've never logged on to WoW before. So go give them a shot. But until then, take it easy.